So I've decided to do a little review of Perma Base Cement Board. There are different types of cement board out there, as many of you already know. There's Durarock, there's Wonderboard, there is Wonderboard Light, and then of course you have HardieBacker and a couple of others. I think there is a gypsum-based product called, what is that called? Can't remember the name of it now, but basically it's a gypsum board. It's like sheetrock, and it has a layer of, for lack of a better term, it has a layer of like red guard on the front and the back. Although it's not red guard, it's still a topical membrane. So the backer boards come and go. It seems like a few of them stay around. This is Perma Base. It's made by actually it's kind of funny, it's made by who's it made by? Hold on a second. National Gypsum. So the same people that make gypsum board decided to get into the market. It's been around for a while. I've actually taken this up before. It's kind of messy when you take it up, because if you see here, impregnated into the cement board are little particles of styrofoam. So it says that it has a specific mold and mildew resistant additive, for lack of a better term, embedded into it. Don't really know about that or not. You know, when you're dealing with cement board, for me it's all the same. In fact, if I wasn't looking at the side of it, I would swear that this is Wonderboard. So it's basically the same product, except for the impregnation of these little particles of styrofoam. I don't know how that helps it. I don't know why this would be a better product than another product. My current customer seems to be fixated on it. He thinks, for whatever reason, that this is a better product. I'm not really feeling it. So I actually have to do a cut on this stuff. One of the reasons I don't like Durarock and Wonderboard is that when you do a score, even with a razor knife, which is usually what I use, that the scoring doesn't really help when you try and snap it. I'm going to do the whole thing again. And then theoretically put it on its side. Okay, that snaps fairly easily, so no issue there. I have a helicopter coming by. Might be a little noisy. One of the reasons that I don't like cement boards is all these little areas that you have to kind of score off with your razor knife, and it's not the easiest thing to do. The cement boards, especially with HardieBacker, are very, 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 very dense, and you know, a razor knife doesn't really seem to do the trick. I mean, you're killing yourself trying to get the edges nice and straight, which is normally why I like a gypsum board better than a cement board, for that reason. Second reason is, anytime I put cement board between studs, 16-ounce center or even wider, sometimes when I take out these showers they're wider, although I try and fill in the gap, there seems to be flexibility, there seems to be a bend with regard to cement board, and I don't get that with gypsum. Oh, I know the product I was trying to think of. It's called Dense Shield, D-E-N-S, Dense Shield. I pronounce it Dense Shield. That is a gypsum product that is permeated with a water barrier on both the front and the back, which none of these cement boards or HardieBacker has. So I would prefer to use that if I had my choice. This particular board, again, I'm not seeing the advantage of having all this impregnated in there. I doubt that it makes it necessarily stronger, and I don't know what kind of waterproofing, I don't know, properties that it might have. I suppose if it were just complete cement through and through, if water got onto the top of it, that it would go filter through fairly easily, and perhaps because of these little particles that are embedded into it, water has a tendency of not getting through as easily. That's really the only advantage I can see in it. It's actually quite heavy. I was kind of surprised because when I saw the side of it and I saw all of that styrofoam in there, I thought, well, man, this stuff must be, you know, lighter than Durarock. And Durarock Light, I'm sorry, Wonderboard Light, to me is a much lighter product. So this 3x5 sheet, when I take them up and down stairs, gets quite heavy after a time, and I just recall that Wonderboard doesn't quite have that heaviness to it. I could be wrong, but it's just my feeling on it. So it's not something I would chase down. This board, like any other, is still just a backer board, and whether I'm using it on a floor or shower walls, I'm not sure it's something, again, that I would chase down necessarily. I know when I've taken it up before, the process of ripping it up, you have a mesh that is both bottom and top, and within that mesh is where all this concrete material is at. And when I've ripped this up before, I just recall all these little particles of styrofoam just blowing everywhere, and the cleanup was kind of a pain. Well, I can show you right here. So when I scored it, all the styrofoam pieces, you know, just get loose, and I just recall taking this up, and it was kind of a pain to clean up. Literally, I couldn't sweep it up because these pieces were flying around, so I had to get my shop vac out. So that's not a reason not to use it, but again, that's my take on it, and for whatever purpose you have to use it, I can't imagine why you would choose one over the other. But as I said, it's not something I would chase down. Perma Base Cement Board, easy to cut, mold resistant, reinforced edge, low water absorption. Okay, so as I said before, maybe the styrofoam keeps the water absorption to a minimum as opposed to other backer boards, but my customer wanted this, and so I have a bunch of sheets to put on the wall, and I have a bunch of sheets to put on to the floor, so I'll be using it on this job. But as far as my preference, no, I wouldn't, personally I wouldn't go out and search for this stuff. It's just not, it's not worth it to me. I'd rather just go to Home Depot and pick up their backer board. Home Depot doesn't carry this, by the way. I think at one time they did, but not anymore. So there you go, just my take on Perma Base Cement Board. The easiest way to cut this stuff, if you don't want to score it, go through all that trouble I just showed you, is you use a skill saw. Yes, there's kind of quite a bit of dust, but it gives you a very smooth, clean cut.